Welcome to the Aria. It's fascinating that over 90% of our viewers connect deeply with our videos, yet choose not to subscribe. Speech balloon. If you've just joined us, welcome to a place where every story is a journey through hidden truths, unspoken emotions, and endings that leave you breathless. Backhand index pointing right. Still watching but haven't subscribed yet? Now's your moment. Hit that subscribe button, because what's coming next will pull you in deeper than you ever expected. Bell, and don't forget to tap the bell, so you'll never miss the next chapter that just might change everything. Right arrow, one click, one emotional journey. Come with us. In a heartbeat, you can help us create even more remarkable content just for you. The air crackled with tension, wrapping around me like a second skin. The pounding of my heart resonated in my ears, a relentless reminder of the choice that awaited me. Let us embark on our journey. It began on a warm evening in Paris, right after the final round of trade negotiations ended. The city was shrouded in a calm quiet, but inside, chaos consumed me. Clipboard in hand, I entered exam room 2 of the Westwood Medical Center, and the atmosphere changed instantly. A small room, climate-controlled and humming softly, held a sterile glow from the ceiling lights, mingling with the faint, unsettling scent of antiseptic. I'm Lena, a 29-year-old nurse, fiercely committed to my calling for the last 5 years. I've faced endless routine checkups, moments of panic and awkward blunders, but nothing could brace me for a day like this. Today, I confront the weight of helping Richard Voss, a patient who requires a crucial cardiovascular follow-up. At 54, he was a man of few words, yet his presence lingered like a shadow, heavy with untold stories. Following a mild cardiac scare the year before, he was back for routine blood pressure checks, a stark reminder of his vulnerability. As I crossed the threshold, an eerie tension enveloped me, something unsettling about him in the room, sparking a deep unease as I caught sight of his file. I had seen him before, but this time everything changed. He perched on the exam bed, wrapped in a thin cotton gown, leaning against the elevated backrest, an aura of vulnerability enveloping him. His fingers trembled in his lap, tension coursing through his stiff frame. His gaze held secrets, a riddle that pierced through to my core. Anxiety gnawed at the edges of consciousness, a restless mind drifting, or perhaps something darker hid just out of sight. Morning, Richard Voss. I greeted him with a heartfelt hello. What feelings are rising up inside you right now? He nodded faintly, exhaustion carved into his features. His eyes darted across the room, finally dropping to the floor, as his voice quivered, soft and uncertain. Richard Voss. I tried to calm him with a soft smile. We'll prepare you for the doctor. It will end in the blink of an eye. I stepped closer to the monitor, my heart pounding, scrutinizing the apparatus with intense focus. As I smoothed the sheets beneath him and adjusted the wires, my eyes unintentionally caught a glimpse through the fragile fabric of the gown. Something drew my gaze, freezing me in place, overwhelmed by an unforeseen pull. The gown's tiny opening sparked a sudden heat that flushed my cheeks. In a heartbeat, I looked away. I braced myself, determined to hold my ground. Tessa Rowe, this is the essence of life laid bare. Feels hauntingly recognizable. This is your time to shine. The persistent feeling wrapped around me, unyielding and overwhelming. I gulped down the weight of my fear. Now you step into the doctor's shoes. He jerked suddenly as I leaned in again to tuck the blanket around his legs. He stood exposed as the gown fell away, laying bare his soul. I gasped, my body recoiling in instinctive horror. I fought to keep my voice steady as I murmured, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm ready to support you with this." His face burned with shame as he desperately clutched the edge of the blanket for cover. I quickly responded, "It's fine. This was never my intention. Let's concentrate entirely on." The door swung open with a haunting creak, plunging us into an immediate silence. A voice broke through, relaxed but laced with mystery. "I deeply regret what happened. I never realized this room held secrets." Tessa Rowe, another nurse, slipped in silently. She hesitated, absorbing the moment, then swiftly slipped away, the door shutting with a gentle thud. Richard Voss stared at his lap, shunning any connection, as a tempest of emotions raged inside him. His face ignited with raw feeling. "I'm so sorry," he breathed, his voice trembling. I struggled to concentrate, fighting to keep my composure intact. My mind spun wildly, yet I found the strength to utter those words. "It happens. The moment has come to complete your preparation." A brief brush against my hand sent a jolt as I reached for the crisp sheets. A shiver coursed through my body. His hand shook, a quiet reflection of the turmoil inside. Mine had felt the weight of another's hand. It might have been a mistake, but it haunted me, making me question everything I believed. I hesitated, then withdrew my hand, the weight of the moment heavy in the air. A hidden truth hung in the air, creating a tense and charged atmosphere between us. I struggled to maintain Richard Voss my composure, my gaze fixed on the items laid out before me. As the final lead connected to the monitor, I exhaled, feeling the weight of anticipation. We're so close now. In that moment, the door burst open once more. Seeing Dr. Nathan Kuram with a clipboard in hand brought a wave of relief. "Is everything all right in here?" he asked with warmth, yet an urgent tremor laced his voice. "Absolutely, doctor." I responded immediately, retreating from the bed. "Richard Voss is poised, waiting for your arrival." I moved swiftly, driven by instinct, without waiting for more guidance. I burst out, the door crashing shut behind me as I gasped for breath. My hand shook with a subtle urgency. I struggled to set it aside as I made my way back to the nurse's station. I fought to tell myself it was insignificant. A haunting moment, it clung to the edges of my mind as I carried out my responsibilities, welcoming new patients, updating charts, and measuring vital signs. That afternoon, a message from the front desk jolted my work tablet to life. "Patient Finch has specifically requested Nurse Tessa Rowe-Reed to check in on him. Will you return tomorrow?" I gazed at the television, my mind swirling with emotions. Why is this unfolding in my life? Have I made a mistake? Was he merely holding on to what he knew, propelled by a deep sense of shame? Yet, was there more lurking beneath the surface? Now, every moment felt excruciatingly deliberate. A sudden touch, charged with intensity and surprise. That piercing stare. It haunted my mind through the dark hours. Bound to my bed, I was consumed by the haunting memory. The unintentional exposure hung in the air, but it was his gaze that cut through me, the ghost of his touch still lingering, and the chilling truth that I stayed silent, paralyzed, unable to act. I told myself it was merely paranoia, that it held no significance whatsoever. Deep within, a profound shift stirred inside me. My heart pounded wildly as I stepped into his exam room once more. As I arrived at the clinic the next morning, my mind raced with a whirlwind of strategies to face Richard Voss. Uphold a standard of professionalism, keep your distance, keep your focus. As the night shift stories swirled around me, I pulled my hair back, masked my emotions, and braced for what lay ahead. More than a nurse, I am the heartbeat of my own narrative. The morning lingered, thick with unspoken tension. In the midst of handling discharge paperwork and addressing patients' urgent requests for medicine refills, I kept a vigilant eye on vital signs. I struggled to look away from the schedule, but the clock pulled me in, each fleeting glance thick with tension. A message from the front desk pinged in at precisely 10:05 a.m. Patient Finch. The patient sits anxiously in the fourth exam room. He wanted you and only you. Beckoned to me once more, twice. That's all it requires. I took a deep breath and stood up, my fingers clutching the clipboard with urgency. This time, I promised to confront my true self without reservation. I knocked softly and entered. I entered the room, met by a piercing good morning. Richard Voss, dressed in a hospital gown, sat on the examination table, a whirlwind of emotions churning inside him. He appeared to expect a friendly conversation instead of a clinical examination. His relaxed posture, swaying legs, and hands folded on his lap exuded a profound sense of ease. Today, A change in his demeanor struck like lightning. His gray-flecked hair was slicked back with precision, exuding a calm confidence, untouched by anxiety or shame. Dealt with unsettling serenity, he continued, "I'm relieved it's you." I opted for silence instead. I moved toward the monitor cart, my voice calm but filled with urgency. "We need to gear up for today's evaluation." His eyes followed my every move as I worked, a heavy silence charged with intensity. I scribbled urgent notes on his chart, watched his oxygen levels flicker, and tightened the cuff on his arm, all while Richard vossing a calm, composed exterior. He breathed it once more, a haunting echo in the silence. "A secret that belongs solely to me." My jaw tightened in a fierce grip. "You haunt my thoughts." I held my breath, completing the final connection before I finally spoke. "I stand by you, Richard Voss. Personal remarks are not allowed during medical sessions." He stood resolute. He seems almost amused in truth. "I knew you would say that." His gaze locked onto mine, transforming the moment into a pulse of raw intensity. The tension in the room wrapped around me, thickening with every heartbeat. The door burst open, silencing my words before they could break free. My body tensed, a desperate call for help. Suddenly, a woman appeared, catching everyone off guard. His sharp cheeks framed a face marked by experience, auburn hair perfectly styled. In his mid-40s, he wore polished office attire, a stark contrast to the expected lab coat. Her gaze swept the room, a quicksilver flash from me to Richard Voss, lingering just a heartbeat too long on each of us, thickening the air with an unsettling tension. Her voice was unwavering. "I hope I'm not overstepping." Richard Voss blinked, caught off guard, his mind racing. "No way, no way." I lifted my chin, determination coursing through me. I had finally done it. "I will wait for you no matter how long it takes." The agony of waiting for her response was unbearable. My heart raced as I crept out of the room and into the shadowy hallway. Her voice lingered, a haunting whisper in my thoughts. "She means the world to him." I sought no approval. Her gaze revealed a truth, a suspicion that cut through the silence that enveloped us. Something deeply moving. "All that matters. The moment has come to end this." I tried to flee my thoughts, losing myself in the inventory logs and chart updates at the nurse's station. Still, my hand shook with an intensity one couldn't con Richard Voss. Every time I looked at the patient roster, a part of me tensed, anticipating the return of his name. It came precisely as planned. "Richard Voss is expecting you back tomorrow." Heart pounding, I fixated on the television, breathless. I had to put an end to this. This, whatever it is, carries a burden that transcends the mundane. I leaned in close to our shift lead, Vivian Marks, and whispered with urgency, "Can someone handle tomorrow's follow-up for Richard Voss?" I pleaded. He makes my heart race with unease. Vivian Marks's forehead tightened with worry. Should I bring up any concerns? "Not yet," I breathed, my heart racing. I craved space to exhale. She let out a deep sigh as her fingers moved over the schedule, each line weighing on her heart. "I'll do my best to adjust, but we won't have enough tomorrow." I thanked her and went back to my work, but a heavy weight remained, preventing me from feeling at ease. A surge of nausea washed over me as I caught sight of the assignment board the following morning. Continuing the mission. Heart pounding, I entered the hall, gripping my belongings with white-knuckled intensity. This time I was ready to say goodbye for good. Richard Voss was on edge, a stark contrast to the composed presence I had met when I first arrived. His jaw was tighter than I had ever seen, his body rigid as he fixed his gaze on the window. He turned away, voice steady, and said, "I need to speak with you." I lingered by the door, my heart pounding fiercely. "What about your care?" "No way." Looking back on yesterday, the moments that brought us to this point linger in my mind. "Richard Voss, I'm by your side, prepared to stand with you through every step of your journey. If you have further concerns, please contact the clinic administration." He turned, his gaze piercing into mine. "You sensed it as well." "Pretense is unnecessary." The chill cut through you instantly. I responded with a sharp edge. I think there's been a mix-up. Your understanding of the events is misguided. He leaned in, the air thick with tension. The door behind me creaked open again. A chilling echo of your haunting presence. Silently she entered, her face a puzzle of emotions. Her eyes darted between us, measuring the weight of each word exchanged. What's happening? Her voice held a chilling steadiness as she inquired. I didn't wait for a response. I announced my departure and pushed past them, my heart racing. My chest constricted, the air slipping through my grasp. She realized this was more than a simple error, and the tale was just beginning, but I still questioned what she had genuinely perceived. The remainder of that day was a haunting passage through dense mist. My mind spun wildly, engulfed in turmoil. With each chart I updated, each step down the hallway, and every word exchanged with a patient, a haunting unease tightened its hold on me. It was as if 1,000 gazes pierced through me, analyzing each step I took. Recent events cast a heavy shadow over all else. As the lights dimmed, the cameras and crew vanished into nothingness. Despite my efforts to silence them, Graham Richard Voss's words haunted me, reverberating in my mind with an unyielding intensity. In that instant of your decision to remain, she appeared. His other half, that piercing gaze. Calm but piercing. She had seen too much, pulling at the threads I desperately wanted to keep hidden. During the remainder of my shift, I concentrated on moving through various clinic wings. Vivian Marks allowed me to take on some responsibilities, but I could only dodge them for so long. The burden of being short-staffed bore heavily on everyone. Still, I believed I had finally broken free from Graham Richard Voss. Bag slung over my shoulder, I craved the comfort of a long, soothing shower and the embrace of silence as I made my way to the staff exit, the end of my shift finally in sight. He stood there, poised, as I rounded the last corner of the hallway. Graham Richard Voss lingered by the double doors, his coat enveloping him, as a heavy sense of anticipation filled the space. I halted, heart racing. My stomach churned with anxiety. He whispered, "I only wanted to talk." His tone was relaxed, reminiscent of a late-night chat between colleagues, but beneath it lay a palpable tension that spoke volumes. All words have faded away. I surveyed the scene and reacted in an instant. Other nurses hovered close by. Such a weight lifted. He leaned in, his voice unwavering as it reached Nina. "There's no reason for you to be afraid of me. I betrayed your trust. I would not succumb to fear." A wave of unease washes over me. "You've gone too far." He remained motionless. His eyes narrowed, a flicker of intensity igniting within them. "Do you honestly think I'm unaware of what's going on?" A voice shattered the stillness behind me, halting my reply. "Nora Kim." I spun around abruptly. Daniel was everything to me, the imaging technicians. He smiled and waved, oblivious to the heavy tension that lingered between us. A smile tugged at my lips in response. "Hold on, I'm coming to you now." As I glanced back at Richard Voss, his face had shifted into something unrecognizable. Stillness, a chasm filled with silent screams unfathomable. He nodded slightly, a silent acknowledgement that sent a rush of emotions through me. One last time, I held my tongue. My heart pounded as I slipped by him. The following morning, I returned to Vivian Marks. I must distance myself from Richard Voss's case. For eternity. Her face contorted with fury. Once more? What transpired? I halted, my heart pounding. He battles on, resolute. "This is unprofessional, feels perilous." Her eyes met mine, and with a slow, purposeful nod, she recognized the gravity of what I had said. "I will notify the administrator." As she stepped out of her office, a burden vanished, leaving only relief in its wake. Perhaps this would finally reach its end. As I returned from my mid-morning break, a new message appeared on my tablet, demanding my immediate attention. Patient Finch desperately cries out for Nisi Tessero. Imbued with a sense of urgency, Frustration surged through me as I almost threw the gadget aside. I paused, enveloped by the heavy stillness. Should I really just look the other way? Should I send it to Vivian Marks? But then another force took over. This has to stop now, right now. I sprinted down the hallway to exam room 4. My heart races, filled with a mix of hope and dread. Powerful shoulders. Stay intensely focused. I would end it in an instant if he dared to try once more. I tapped gently and entered the room. He perched on the bed's edge, a suffocating silence wrapping around him. Once more I find myself at the window. This time I refused to be trapped by cold, lifeless cloth. He wore every piece of clothing, a shield against the world. He stood like a statue, unyielding. His face was a facade, hiding the turmoil within. His words poured out, urgent and unyielding, never glancing back. I need to speak with you, Richard Voss. I'm here solely for the help I require. If this isn't what you seek, then I'm not the one for you. He turned to face me slowly, the air thick with unspoken words that felt heavy and charged. Do you honestly think this has been easy for me? Did I truly orchestrate any of this? I responded with unwavering Sir Richard Vosti. I couldn't care less. Your presence sends a shiver down my spine. You've gone too far. I should never have ended up in the mess you made for me. He moved in, heart racing. You decided to remain quiet. I fought to keep up the appearance of professionalism. His voice fell, heavy with resentment. You never uttered the word no. You set me free. I flinched instinctively. It holds no significance. You feel it deep within. In a heartbeat, his fingers grazed my wrist, a brief but charged connection. Halt! I cried out, my voice trembling with desperation. Quickly, reclaim it. A dark shadow swept across his face. An air of arrogance hangs, palpable and charged. You understand the weight of your silence, the storm it could unleash if you speak. A swift motion at the door seized everyone's gaze. Once more she faced him. This moment, cloaked in darkness, hangs heavy at the edge of the room. She had hit her breaking point. Her face told 1,000 stories. Her gaze cut deep into my soul. At last, the moment has come for him. Is everything all right here? Her voice quivered, a delicate whisper that cut through the silence as she inquired. I took a step back, my heart pounding fiercely. I had just walked away. I spun around and marched away, their shocked silence echoing behind me. As I arrived at the nurse's station, I let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding, the tension that had gripped me finally releasing its hold. This was a display of unprofessionalism that was deeply unsettling and completely intolerable. It was becoming something utterly foreign. A darker twist awaits, yet it was only the start. I believed it would all be over the moment we stepped into the exam room. I believed Moana had conquered the silence. Her piercing gaze became my refuge amidst the chaos that surrounded us. I overlooked her incredible value. I was oblivious to the depths I had plunged into. In the days that followed, I pulled away from both of them. I changed my plans, broadened my focus in pediatrics, and promised myself to avoid exam room 4 at all costs. Yet I couldn't shake the anticipation for patient Finch to summon Nurse Tessa Rowe with each chime of my tablet, a haunting echo that hung heavily in the air. That evening, as I slipped through the staff exit, an unexpected wave of emotion seized me. The air was thick with the chilling sense of déjà vu. A voice breathed from the darkness lurking behind me. Nora Kim. I whirled around in an instant. He was never meant to be. She was the world. Patient Finch is gone. Moana clutched her bag tightly, standing alone by the front desk, engulfed by a profound sense of solitude. She appeared unfazed. Keep your cool. Her gaze held a deeper intensity, as if her choice had been made long before I could speak. Her voice barely broke the silence. A word is all I seek. This is an order. A directive. I stopped, my heart pounding as I searched the corridor. Flickering lights pierced the silence, their glow mingling with the soft squeak of the Clark's cart as it echoed through the desolate hallway. I nodded, my heart weighed down by words left unsaid. She guided me into a small, faded consulting room. With the door slamming shut, she turned to me, her eyes ablaze with fierce emotion. I understand the truth about my spouse. My heart pounded fiercely. Transcends your beliefs. I began to shape the defense. Please don't offend me, she said, her voice calm but tinged with a palpable strain. You merge with the throng, and if I raise my voice, you'll slip away into darkness. I stood in silence, consumed by doubt, a stark warning. A shadow approaches. But then everything changed in her voice. I arrive without a desire to cast blame. I'm here for you. Took me by surprise. She drew a thick folder from her purse, its weight laden with untold secrets. She slid it across the desk, its edges sharp against the wood, a silent challenge hanging in the air between us. Within were photographs, emails, screenshots, notes, and medical reports, each a fragment of a tale yearning to be revealed. Bound to him completely, bound to others yet alone. Her response cut through the air, fierce and unwavering. He knows this place all too well. Caregivers, companions, the neighbor's daughter, each one a lifeline in the shadows of solitude. He exerts pressure, coercion, and manipulation with a cold, calculated intensity. As they struggle, his grip grows firmer. With each page I turned in the folder, my stomach twisted tighter, a gripping tension building within me. She charged me with silence that stretched on for too long. His behavior drains me, leaving me weary of the humiliation and the whispers that linger in the air. My heart pounded as I gazed at her, a wave of disbelief crashing over me. Why are you revealing this to me? She extracted a tiny silver key from her coat pocket and placed it next to the folder, a quiet vow lingering in the atmosphere. She unveiled that you hold two choices, as you are deeply intertwined in this matter. Turn your back and erase this moment from existence, or help me finish this for good. I fixed my gaze on the key, my heart pounding fiercely. What awaits just out of reach? She uncovered his secret, a drawer in his home office filled with copies of everything. Photographs, notes, and other artifacts he has used to strike at the hearts of others. Perhaps you can grasp them, but I've always been too afraid. Why is this happening to me? I pleaded. Should we call the police? If I walk away, he'll claim I'm merely the echo of their stare. Her gaze cut deep, leaving me breathless. Speak up and someone will hear you. In the stillness, a heavy silence hung between us, unvoiced yet palpable. I whispered, fear tightening around my heart. I'm not sure I belong here. She turned to the door and said, then think about it. Rush, the moments are fading fast. He's scheming and the clock is ticking. In the silence of the room, I gazed at the fragments of a man who always eluded my grasp. The days that followed faded into a haze. I avoided the Harlans, stayed in the pediatric wing, and kept my eyes downcast. The weight of that folder pressed down on me, relentless and suffocating. I slipped it into a blank envelope, concealing it deep within my locker. Each time I opened the door to switch shifts, my gaze was irresistibly pulled toward it. A quiet vow of the unknown ahead. The key lay in my palm, weighty with unvoiced potential, as I lingered in my car one evening after work. Ice cold. Authentic. What if she really meant it? What if his true motives were more sinister than they appeared? My mind was shrouded in doubt, trapped at a crossroads. Not just now. Still, I had known it deep down all along. She unveiled secrets that would torment my thoughts for eternity. His words lingered in my mind, haunting and unforgettable. Knowing that others might endure the same or even greater suffering, I couldn't hide my anguish as I entered that clinic each day. I can cling to this moment just a bit more. I might just take the plunge. Still, a profound change had begun to stir within me. This time I will speak out. Your presence today as we unveil this extraordinary tale means the world to us. If this video resonated with you, please subscribe, hit that like button, and share your feelings in the comments below. Your steadfast support fuels our passion to bring you compelling and meaningful news every day. For stories that ignite your